another huge day of racing at Rosehill Gardens today, and whether you're heading to the track or watching all the action from home, here's a few tips you might want to jot down.
Thank you, Tim and Julie. Yes, looking for a big day out at Rosehill Gardens. It's the last meeting for their carnival, and hopefully we can get some cash for this long weekend. The rail goes out 6 metres. Historically, that can favour horses on speed up in the inside, but look, they've had a lot of racing, so they may just want to edge off as well. So really look at those first couple of races. But the first horse I want to look at, is my best bet of the day, is race 8, number 1, is Buckaroo in the Group 1 Tancred Stakes over the 2,400 metres. Now, as we roll the replay, this was 7 days ago in the Group 1 Randwick Stakes. He was second last on the rail. He's in the blue and the champagne colours, and I thought there was a lot of merit to this performance for a few different reasons. He wasn't suited to the pace of the race, but he's the horse that had to make his run through the inferior ground. We're on this day at Rosehill, you didn't want to be in there, so worst part of the track, but what I like about his run is his last few bounds and strength through the line. Primed to run a career peak figure here today, class horse. 2,400 metres for the first time, but I was told by a smart judge, never knock a horse until they get out to that distance and give it a go. So I actually marked him favourite around that $5.50. I thought that was a fantastic price. Happy to take on the favourite Post Impressionist. As we roll to the second horse, it's going to be another Will. So Kieran Maher trained and Jamie Carr takes a ride, and there's a lot of hype around this galloper. He's been smashed in the early betting. This race is very important because if you win this, you get a free ticket to the Doncaster next week for day 1 of the Star Championship. So we're looking at his replay, his last start win at Flemington on the 2nd of March, and he just does it with such ease, and there's a lot of style about this win. But if you really look at how Jamie Carr asked him, and he just push button acceleration here, puts them away with ease, he just goes bang. Breaking down his sectionals, he records the fastest last 200-metre split of the meeting, and the big tick for me is there's been 2 horses come out of this race that have gone out and won, so 2 subsequent winners. He's the one that brings a lot of X factor. He's on that upwards rating spiral. When they get down to that weight of 53 kilos, which he has today, that really enhances that closing speed as well. Perfect draw, one that's a lot of a likeable profile. So he's short, but I think he goes in all the multis, and for me, I'm going to back him as well. The third horse I want to have a look at is Serpentine. So back to race 2, number 2 in the Neville Selwood Stakes. And this was at Randwick on the 9th of March, where he wins over the 2,000 metres. And it was only a few years ago this horse actually won an English Derby. So he lines up in a very winnable race here. And he's the one that's leading out there in the navy blue silks with the white hat. He leads at an even tempo, and coming off that final turn, the grey horse Bar d'Argent really did serve it up to Serpentine, but it was all about the fight he showed for me, and he just keeps finding under pressure. He actually keeps building to the line, and he just sets up really well today, especially under the conditions of the race. So at the weights, under the set weights and penalties, he's incredibly well in. He maps to control the speed with Tim Clark riding, and if you want a horse that's going to lead, you want Tim Clark on. Barrier 1, he just will control this tempo, and I think he's going to be awfully hard to beat. Watch him take off around that 800-metre mark. The only other horse I thought was the danger was Zarek, and he's going to have to give Serpentine a big start. And I know we all want to get some cash for this long weekend, so here's my roughie of the day, which will be race 4, number 11, High Dandy in the Tulloch Stakes. And this is his last start win at Wyong, where he broke through for his maiden back on the 14th of March. And as we pick up the vision, he's the leader in the Orange Silks, and there was a change of tactics this day. He's a horse that usually gets back, but they tried their hand, went forward, and in an aggressive manner they really rode him up, and he just went to a completely new level here. He ran his rivals ragged, he clocked very fast overall time, he puts a margin on them, pricks his ears late on the line, and he's eased down. So I know this is only maiden grade, but we've seen this before. I've seen this before where these horses have only had those few starts, they can go bang bang and really bounce quite quickly. So upgrade to the Tulloch Stakes. It's going to be hard for him to do, but I think he might be hard to beat. Thank you, Tim and Julie. I hope everyone has a great long weekend and a successful day at Rosehill Gardens today.
Thank you, Nick. He's doing very well. Let's have a look at his tips.
Doing very well.
And then we'll have a look at our multis. But so there's Nick's tips. Buckaroo, now that's the horse I've gone for in our tips, the Tancred Stakes. It will need to beat a pretty good horse to get home in the Tancred, but there you go. They are Nick's tips.
Take a screenshot of that one, because Nick is in very good form, our resident tipster. So before we head off for the day, let's take a quick look at a couple of multis. And Nick, he's gone for Buckaroo for the win, another Will for the win, as we just heard. He's also gone for Parramatta Eels.
The Parramatta Eels to beat the Tigers. That'll be tight on Monday. Now, let's roll the next page on, because Julie and I both give our multis as well. And this is Julia's.
I've gone for Kintyre for the win, it seems. West Tigers also for the win. Controversial in the Seagulls.
Yeah, you've gone against Nick there.
You've got to take a risk.
Yeah, absolutely. No guts, no glory, they say, Julie. And mine, orchestral, talk about no guts, it's about $1.70. And the Dolphins, I like to look at Wayne Bennett's Dolphins, and I'm going to go the Parramatta Eels to be the Tigers. So we'll have some happy people and some not so happy people next week.